Hi guys, this is a video for the HNC group who I took today, 5th of February 2019. We had a quick foray into Solidworks. Some of you is for a second time, some of you is brand new. This is to help you out with your project basically, but this video is hopefully to help you recap what we did today. This pertains to the drawing of the electrical enclosure that I sort of created this morning and started going through. So I'm going to start covering that. Okay. So right from the beginning, we opened up SolidWorks, we got File and New, clicked on Part, and it throws us into a sort of design space. What we need to do with this is a lot of our work on this part is going to be done on the top plane. So you click on top plane, extruded boss, and that puts you into sketch mode, okay? Because SolidWorks works in 3 layers basically. You got your sketches, then you got your models, and then from those models then you can either branch off into assemblies or you can branch off into drawings. You can even go as further on as to say you get drawings of assemblies as well. Anyway, starts off with a rectangle. From the origin, which is the 2 red arrows here, okay, I've drawn a rectangle, smart dimension, we then go into smart dimension, 75 on the bottom line, computer's lagging, 75 on the bottom line, 50 on the left, exit the sketch, and you'll notice when you got it fully defined you got all the dimensions that you need because your lines will turn black. Okay, if they don't turn black and you got a blue one, something's gone wrong. Right, so we're going to now pop this into 3D. So D1 sets how high this extrusion is actually going to go. So on the drawing we have got 25mm, so we put 25mm on D1 and green tick, and that gives us a grey block. What we then do is you can go, we're going to do a shell next. So what you do is in your features menu, shell, and if you have a look at the drawing you'll find you've got a wall thickness of 1.5, and what this does is like an ice cream tub, it scoops out everything you don't need. So I'm going to put 1.5 in D1. I'm going to click on the top of the brick, press enter or green tick, and it hollows out everything. So we've got a constant wall thickness there of 1.5mm, which is really handy. The long-winded way of doing it is to do an extruded cut and figure out how thick the bottom needs to be, but shell is very good at this. Okay, so electrical enclosures, highly recommend the shell function, especially if you've got complex forms. Right, from that then we need to put the corners on that allow us to screw the lid on, so we put these in next. So if I said Control 5, that's a shortcut key for spinning that around. I'm then going to click on the top of the perimeter wall here and choose Extruded Boss, and we're straight into the sketch menu there. Rectangle tool, okay, then it's smart dimension, and from the right hand wall to the extreme left wall we have got 6.5, and if I go from the bottom of that square to the top we've got 6.5 again. Okay, brilliant. So what we're going to do now is construction line. So 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, same again, going from 9 o'clock over to 3 o'clock. And what we're going to do is we're going to work smart on this. We're going to use the mirror function, so I'm going to highlight the square. There's all the lines there. We're going to mirror it about our construction line there. Press return. If I hold the control key down, I can highlight both of those two squares there and there. And if I choose mirror entities, we're going to say mirror about the horizontal, and that gives you two more. Right, everything's fully defined. We've got some relations popping up, that's perfectly normal. We've got some coincidence, we've got some mirror marks, symmetries. They're perfectly normal, they need to be there. Okay, so exit the sketch, and we got what looks like a four-poster bed happening here, so that's going the wrong way. So if I change the direction there to do a reverse, and I tell it we're going to go up to next, so this will extrude those squares all the way down until it meets something. In this case it's going to be the bottom of this tray. Green tick. There you go, lovely. Right, so the other detail we've got in the drawing, especially in the detail view on the bottom right, is we've got an R2. So these lines here need to be radiused by 2 mil. And to do that, we're going to go into the features menu and use the filleting tool. So click on fillet. We've got this symbol here for a radius. We're going to put 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on these edges here, here, and green tick, and that'll round those off. Okay, if we go back into the filleting tool again, we've got a radius of 3 to go on the outside corners. So if I change the radius to a 3 mil, I can go around the outside of the box and I can put some curves onto those as well. And there's one last fillet that we need to put on. If I put a 1 mil fillet on there and choose the bottom line of that box, it picks up the fact that's a closed loop, and we can put a radius on the bottom of that as well. Okay. Okay. So we've extruded it, we've added some bits on the corners, we've put some fillets on, we've shelled all of this out as well. The next trick I'm going to show you is putting islands into the middle of this. So if I control 5 again, click on the bottom of the tray, and what we're going to do is going to draw on the bottom, we're going to extrude up this time. So extruded boss, we're going to use the polygon tool, check that it's got 6 sides, and we're going to draw anywhere on here a hexagon. Okay, once you've done one, press escape. Now this is on the wonka bit, so we need to straighten them out. So using the relations method, we're going to click on this bottom line here, and we're going to tell it to make it a horizontal one, and then press escape. And what that does is it fixes this bottom line to be perfectly horizontal, so it's skewed it round. Once we've done that, into Smart Dimension, pick the center of the hex. On the drawing we got 20 by 12, so I'm going to pick those there and there. And the last dimension that we need to concern ourselves with is the dimension across flats. So if I click on those two opposite faces and tell it that should be a 6, that gives us that. Everything's black, we got our relations in, everything's looking good. Right, construction lines. Pick the midline from there to there. Pick the midline from there to there. And just like we did before, I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to say I want to mirror it. I'm going to mirror it about the center line vertical there. And then I'm going to highlight these two, holding the control key down. Mirror entities, and I'm going to mirror it about the horizontal line. Green tick. Okay. Lots of symmetry relations popping up here, okay, perfectly normal, don't mind them, they're fine. Exit the sketch. It's now asking us how tall these pillars are going to be. Now, from the bottom of this casing here, it should be 10 millimeters. So I'm going to put 10 where it says D1, and then green tick. So we got our pillars, we got our corners, everything like that. Brilliant. Okay. The next step in this is to put the drilled and tapped holes in. To do that, we need to use Hole Wizard. So in your features menu, find Hole Wizard. This is a big giant database of different types of hole. So we've got counterbores, depending on what size bolt you want to choose. We've got countersinks, we've got drilled holes, reamed holes in this one. And we've also got tapped holes. Okay, so holes with threads in. These other ones I've not so much bothered with too much. We've got things like tapered tapped holes for plumb fits. We've also got legacy type holes, and then we got various types of slot that you might want to use if you got something that can be adjusted. From that then, let's have a look at tapped hole then, which is the icon that's on the left and in the middle row. Standard should be metric. Bottoming tapped hole, we're going to choose our size. Definitely not M14. M3 by 0.5 according to the drawing. And we're going to do it blind. Okay, that's brilliant. So those depths are okay. Into your positions, and it says select the face of the hole or slot position. So just like we've been choosing the surfaces that we're going to be drawing on, we're choosing the surfaces we're going to put the holes onto. In this case, we're going to start off by doing the perimeter ones. So if I click on that wall there, and what I do is I'm picking up the center of this radius here. So just by loitering on that line there, it knows that we're looking at this radius here, it knows that there's a center, and that's what I want to use. And if I just click on it, it's literally just a question of pluck and place basically. So there's 1, 2, 3, and here is 4. Yep, there we go. Once I got those in, I click on the green tick, and those are your 4 drill tapped holes on there. The next series of holes we need to do are on the islands. So if I go into Hole Wizard, all the settings should be the same. So it's M3, it's blind holes. So into positions, select the face or choose a slot, yada yada yada. So what we're going to do is we're going to say we're going to do it on that face there. So we're going to click on the top of these islands. I'm just going to stick one on the top of the first one. I'm going to press escape. Now incidentally, if you do press escape, what you can do is you can pick up the holding tool again by just activating the point tool. Okay, if I click on that for example, we're back in the game to put holes on. So press escape, Control 5, smart dimension, and it shares the same centers as the hexagons. So from there to there, there to there, brilliant. I'll right click and tell it not to mark these for drawings, otherwise you end up with a repeat. Center line, similar sort of construction to what we did earlier. 12 and 6, 3 and 9, mirror, mirror. Okay, green tick. That's those done. And that's about as far as we got with that session. So here's the extra bits and pieces. Control 3 brings you around to the right hand side. We're going to use what they call an extruded cut, which is like a cookie cutter. So we're going to draw a shape, and that's the shape that's going to chop out basically. So on the side there, extruded cut in the features menu, and I'm going to find the midpoint. I'm going to draw a circle, and then using the line tool, there we go. On the drawing I've got a dimension of 6, going from the top edge to the center of the circle. I've also got a dimension of 6mm diameter on that. I'm going to use the trim entities tool here, and if I hold the left mouse button down and just drag it over the line I don't want anymore, that'll give us a nice sort of keyhole shape. And then I'm going to hold the control key down, pick the center of the circle there. I'm going to find the center and tell it that's a vertical relation. If I smart dimension this now, so smart dimension from there to that edge, 25mm. That's now turned black, it's fully defined. Okay, exit your sketch, through all. Now if I go through all, it'll carry on going into the sunset. Okay, it's like setting it to infinity. Chop through the lot. Okay, now this enclosure is more or less designed to have power going in, or a signal going in, interact with a circuit board, and then have a signal or power coming back out of it. Okay, so the idea is there'll probably be electrical glands here and here with an interface board in between. Right, that is the modelling part done. Now the problem comes when you want to go back in and tweak something. It's as simple as right clicking on one of these features in your design tree, and you've got a button here that says edit feature, and you can edit the settings in there. If it's at a sketch level, you can right click on the feature in question, and you can also choose on the pop-out menu to edit the sketch, which will bring you back in at sketch level. So you can jump in at different places here and there. The next step with this is we've got a thing. At the moment we don't know what it's made of. On the drawing it says it's 2014 T6. So if I right click on here, that's not there. Okay, so we need to add that in. So if I go into manage favorites, for example, aluminium alloys. Right, so those are the DIN standard ones. Let's have a look at the Solidworks ones. Aluminium alloy, 2014 T6. Add that into your favorites and then close. Right click, T6. There you go. So we've changed the material now. Okay. Because I've given it material, everything's fully defined. I should then be able to go into evaluate, do a mass properties check, and it should come up at 47.72 grams. Alright, so when you got the dimensions right, that's what you should get. The next step is to put your details in. So if you're using my template, you'll have all this prefabbed in. On my template it's all missing on my laptop. Okay, so I'm going to have to plumb this in manually. So things like material, we got the weight, we have got drawn by, we got group, description. I think that's all we need to concern ourselves with at this point. Just short of putting student ID in, but if you're using the templates from the two CAD suites, they should be automatically there. So the material, then we choose that it's going to pluck that from a physics engine. We've got the weight, so that's coming from the physics engine as well. Drawn by, put your name in there. Group, description. Electrical enclosure. Whoops, if I could spell. Click on OK. Then you're going to save it. So file save. I'm going to put this on the desktop for now. I'm going to call it HNC. Right, our model is now saved.